You're talking about equality equaling respect. We can be equal and very, very different. You can be equal with completely different things. A woman can have equal respect to a man if she is very good at being a woman, and a man gets respect for being very good at being a man. When a woman decides she wants to act like a man, or a man wants to act like a woman, that's where all gets fucked up. Men and women are good at different things. There's nothing wrong with accepting that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I'm a woman, I'm good at X, he's a man, he's good at Y. Then we work together as a team.
We're talking about relationships. I don't actually need you. There's new jobs and there's pictures. Why do you need a man in a relationship? And these are the stuff that I need in a man. But it's like, at the end of the day, it's not like I completely need you.
But the whole point is if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need a man.
In society, agree.
Why do we act like women are so useless?
I
can change a tire.
I'm saying if the lights went out tomorrow, you would need someone to protect you. You would.
Of course.
Equality was never about sameness. It's about respecting what each side uniquely offers. A man excelling as a man, a woman thriving as a woman. That's balance. Blend those roles into one blurry identity, and everything collapses. We're built to complement, not to fight for the same lane. Different strengths, equal worth. That's genuine equality. Sadly, modern feminism trashes that truth completely.
With the fire that you started in me, but you never came back to ask it out.
They don't miss you when you're gone, they miss you when you move on. And they hit 40 alone.
Gloria Steinem said, if you don't go out to work, you betray the movement of feminism. You betray the women's rights movement. Babies will be fine. Don't worry about them. Put them into daycare. Give them to a babysitter. You need to go out to work. You need to be soldiers in this war that we're waging. And women just soaked it up. Meanwhile, Gloria Steinem never had children. So she could say that. That message was very destructive. So what we know is that attachment disorders are passed down generationally. So if you develop an attachment disorder because your mother isn't emotionally present for you, is disinterested, then that gets passed down to the next generation.
How can a woman rediscover her maternal instinct?
You have to start to uncover old losses. You have to look at your own childhood, because the basis on which we form our relationship with our children is
absolutely spot on. Attachment disorders sit at the core of countless personality issues. But of course, we're not allowed to point fingers at women. Heaven forbid anyone hold them accountable for the chaos their unresolved baggage creates.
Why dating in the modern world sucks. There's a few reasons for this. Obviously, dating apps and social media, women have more choice than ever. And unfortunately for some men, what's happening in the dating app data shows this. You've basically got 80% of the women chasing after the top 10% of men. It's why women always complain, this guy cheated on me, he did this and that. It's because all of the women are chasing after that top 10% of men. But for me to dive deeper, the real issue with modern dating is women expect men to be traditional men. They want men to be strong and masculine and make money and competent and take you on a date and pay for the date and be chivalrous and act like a gentleman. Women want traditional men. However, if you look at the majority of women and these women that want those traits in men, they are not traditional anymore. So women want men to be traditional while they are not traditional. Women are not as feminine as they used to be. Women are very, very masculine in the modern world.
Date or marry a solid provider, and chances are she still sneaks off with the chads. When caught, the blame flips. Suddenly it's the gentleman's fault. Accountability? Completely dead. Doesn't matter if she's secular or religious, the mindset is the same. Feminism killed responsibility, and men pay the price.
Now this one is for my ladies. Let's get into it. After I graduated with my master's, this woman that I used to work with, you know who you are, she pulled me aside. She said, Sam, you're a pretty girl. When are you gonna settle down and get married? I laughed and I said, probably after I get my LCSW. She looked at me dead in my eye and said, shut the door. And so I did. She said, now look around, Sam. Look at the women my age. Look at the women who prioritize their career over family. And now they're lonely. All they have is their career, searching for meaning in vacations and brunches. And I saw it with my own eyes. It wasn't what I wanted for myself. She said what matters to her most now is her husband, her kids, and her grandbabies. That was her legacy. Y'all, and that changed everything for me. So I say all that to say this. Ladies, stop buying the lies of culture. Family is ministry. It's your first ministry. We weren't created to fight being helpmates. That's our divine purpose. We were created to walk in it with power. Don't lose yourself trying to chase a version of success that leaves you empty. God's way still works.
Rare find, because nearly all women block this truth out. They're too caught up, chanting the feminist chorus, independent queen, work before love, kids someday, or maybe never. Fast forward to 38, they've got diplomas, job titles, and Instagram brunch photos. What's missing? Peace, legacy, fulfillment. All that's left is empty validation and silence. Most won't face it until the clock already ran out.
In business, you have something called supply and demand. Basic economics, you have a supply and you have a demand. When there's too much supply and not enough demand, you have something called a market surplus. There's a market surplus of single women over 30. So what happens when you have a market surplus is you're in the market surplus market, right? You go to the landfill. Who shops at the landfill? Dudes that are on the market surplus scale. So when you're a lady and you're in the market surplus things, you want to be a business tycoon. From one business tycoon to another, you're mispricing the product, and market's going to tell you that.
Women past 30 still act like it's their peak era, blind to the fact the market already moved on. You can't stay picky and single endlessly and think top-tier men will line up. Reality always adjusts the price tag, no matter how loud the denial.
I have a question for the older women on the panel. When do you think women start to lower their standards, if ever?
I didn't want to believe it when I heard Kevin Samuels say 60 because I thought that was so far off. But I really do believe, because we have this thing, you know, black don't crack or whatever. I'm still 47. In 3 years, I'll be half 100. I should move differently than someone that's 27. So I would say women mistakenly think I can still compete in that arena, so I shouldn't have to settle. And then you end up in your 50s and 60s alone, and then you say, okay, I'll just be happy to have anyone.
Damn right. Every guy she dismissed back in her prime? Stay firm, brother. Don't turn into her safety net now that her shine is fading. She flexed her options, fed her ego, and laughed. Now all that's left is loneliness and regret. Men, stand tall. Let her live with the choices she made.
Nowadays, you see women waiting. They're waiting. Well, I want to focus on my career. I want to focus on my degree. I want to be successful. Nothing wrong with that. But what happens is they get to 30 and they have an epiphany. They're like, oh shit, I got to hurry up.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had a guest on here, I won't say the name,
Timeline.
35 years old, childless, no husband. You're at that, we call it hitting the wall.
Yeah.
And then they become negative around it and start saying men are shitty, men are douchebags. And then they get in their 40s and they end up on TikTok talking shit at 40 years old, which is pointless, right? What did you do in your 20s? And this is another thing. It's interesting on planning. Watch this, Sean. And I know you get this. You talk to men, you say plan. You counsel women, plan. I ask a woman on the show, what's your 2 to 5 year plan? I don't know. You don't know.
But yet you want a quality man.
You're 35 years old.
Social media and dating apps handed women unlimited options, convincing them their clock would never run out. But reality doesn't wait forever. On the upside, at least every stray cat and dog they're collecting is getting shelter, because that's the only family they're really building.
Being in your late 20s is so hard. I've seen a few people talk about this and just kind of the loneliness of your late 20s, and especially people who are kind of in this middle stage of, hey, I'm not married, don't have kids, not in a relationship, but I'm also not going out every weekend. I spend a lot of my time by myself. I live alone. I come home from work, I go to the gym, I spend my evenings alone. And on the weekend lately, I feel like I've been so exhausted that all I want to do is like spend time by myself. And I'm struggling with questions about work. You know, am I passionate about what I'm doing? Am I good at it? Should I be traveling right now and not working? Or should I be trying to work remotely so that I can travel? Like, there's just all these things that I think I would like to experience, and it's hard to know, well, when am I going to experience those things?
If she thinks her late 20s feel brutal, wait until reality keeps tightening its grip. The decades ahead won't get softer, they only hit harder. Thanks for watching Manhood. If you want access to exclusive episodes and want to support the channel, hit that join button and become a member. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if it hit home. Drop your stories and thoughts in the comments. We read everyone. See you tomorrow.